Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sport Show right here on Smash FM. We are on location here at the State Nippon Hockey Centre here in Parkville, because getting ready for the VNL season. But of course, before we do that, of course, we're heading across to where I'll be on Saturday over in Adelaide, and of course, and speak with the defending National Premier League champions. That was Metro United, and of course, I was speaking to one of their players, of course, one of our favourites as well, because her name is Ellie. She joins us right now. Thanks, Ellie, for joining us.
Thanks, Will. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Well, tell us, how's it been like for the defending champs so far through the first couple of games?
Yeah, it's been a challenge, I guess. Everyone's coming out to try and beat us this year. So the first game and even the preseason cup taught us that each game's going to be a hard game. But we got to win the first round, and last week we got a draw, and we were a bit disappointed in that because we thought we probably could have got the win. But you know, it's early days, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going this season.
Now, obviously, it's not a loss. So obviously in the ladder, it will not be shown a loss, even though I know, as you mentioned, that I guess the way the game panned out, it could have been an easy win to make it 2-0. But I guess I'm assuming there's a lot of positives coming out of it, knowing that at least you didn't come away with a loss. At least you got some points out of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we were mostly disappointed because we did have opportunities to finish the game early on, and had multiple shots on goal that potentially, you know, another day would have gone in. But the positives are that we are creating those opportunities, and we have got a few new people in the team, and we're still working out, you know, where everyone is and how we work together. So at least, as you said, we did get a point, and next week, this week coming, we're going to try and keep getting the points. Yeah.
You mentioned that it's a pretty new team to the team that won it last year in 2020. How have they been managed to, I guess, gel into the team, and especially a really successful team that won it a year ago?
Yeah, so we lost three big names from last year's team. So we had Ebony, who was our centre back for years, and Donna Cocaine, who's been at the club I think for 15 plus years, and as well as Stella Rigon, who was our captain. So we lost three big names last year, two to retirement, and Ebony is having a baby this year, which is very exciting. So obviously that's meant that we've had to fill those positions. We've been very lucky to pick up Victoria Mansueto from Comets. So she adds a lot of pace up front. We've also, Millie's come into the team and starting this year, whereas she was sort of probably starting more on the bench last year, and playing really well and filling the position where Stella was up left forward. And we've also got another player by the name of Gabby, who's I think come from NTC, and she's a great little defender, but also able to play in multiple positions, and she'll be looking to push into the team too.
Ellie, for you, how's it been like? You mentioned that obviously three big names from Metro have obviously gone, and obviously one hopefully is coming back after the baby. But for you, is it now become a bit more of a leadership role for you now those three are gone?
Yeah. So I've been lucky to be named in the leadership team sort of this year as vice captain with Chrissy, and then we've also got Ness, who's our captain. But in saying that, we've kind of got a team of leaders already. You know, we have lost some experienced names, but you've still got players like Christy Moore and Laura Stockdale who have been around the game for years. You've also got Shelley Kua, who's also been in the team since the start point. So there's a lot of experience in there, and you know, if it's not coming from us, it's coming from somewhere else on the pitch. Yeah.
You found it as a vice captaincy alongside, of course, one of I guess the best strikers in the competition, Chrissy.
Yeah, so I guess I forgot to mention before that Chrissy's also come back in the team this year. She missed most of last season from an ankle injury, and then popped back into at finals time. But yeah, it's amazing. And we had first game of the season, she was back on song, and it was like she hadn't stopped playing for the last year, but unfortunately got a knock in the second half and has missed the last few weeks, and she'll miss this week from a concussion. But you know, having her presence back there, it's amazing, and she's going to provide an opportunity to get lots of goals this season, which we really missed last year. But apart from that, she's a strong presence, and she's a really strong leader as well. So we're very excited to have her back in the team.
Now, I know that the Knockout Cup is this weekend, actually, because the Premier League is having a break this week. How's preparations been like towards that?
Yeah, so we've got, I think we've got NTC in the Cup this Friday night. I mean, preparation has been similar as far as it's another game, but obviously the stakes are high in that you want to stay in the Cup, and I think that will be a real goal for us this year to see if we can push through to the later rounds of the Cup. So we'll be looking obviously for a win this Friday against NTC. I guess with Chrissy out from a concussion, and we've also got Laura, who got a bit of a knock last week, and I'm not sure if Christy's in too. We're low on numbers, and it's only the third game of the season, but it's going to provide opportunities for some of those girls I mentioned earlier to make a presence in the team and show what they can do and offer when they get a chance.
Now, let's talk a bit about last season in particular. A magical run to the premiership. I think if my memory serves me correct, the team finished in fourth on the ladder, going into finals, and knocked out everyone. Of course, that was West Adelaide, Adelaide City, which you beat in the grand final, and obviously Salisbury as well to get there. Tell us, was there a particular game in the final series that you thought we can actually go all the way and win it all?
Well, I think, to start with, we were just excited to be in the first game, and I don't know. I think there was nothing to lose. You had that sort of belief that you can throw everything at it. We've really got nothing to lose. We've finished fourth. We've won some of these games. We've lost some of the games against those teams. Who knows what's going to happen? We've just got to throw it all out there. And we prepared really, really well for that final series. Had good tactics. The team, we had some continuity in the team, and everyone was playing really well together as we got to the end of the season. So I think, initially it was just one game at a time. And I know personally, I barely told anyone we made the finals. I wasn't sure if we're going to make it through. And then, you get through the first round, you're like, well, that's good. We won 1-0. That's a bit of surprise. Maybe I'll tell a few more people we're in the semi-final, but who knows if we'll make it through that. And then, we managed to get through the semi-final in extra time after going down, I think, 1-0, then 2-1, then we got back to 2-0 and then managed to get through that game 3-2 in extra time. And then we made it to the final. It's sort of like, well, we've got this far, anything's possible now. And Adelaide City were a massive task because they'd won every game that year except for the first round, which we played them in. And they'd won the cup, they were the premiers. So, we had a big task ahead of us, and we just kept doing what we've done every week. We had that belief. We also went down 1-0 in that game, and I think by that point we were going 1-0 down. That we just had that belief that we could come back, and we did. And I think after scoring that second goal, it was the longest. I think I looked at the clock. I think it was 69 minutes, and the longest half an hour of my life. I think I looked up every now and then, thinking it would be 10 minutes had passed, and it had only been 2. So yeah. It just hung on there. Hung on at the end.
Now, you mentioned it's versus Adelaide City back in round 1 of that season, which you beat them. And I'm pretty sure you actually versed them again in the first round this season. You beat them too. But anyway, of course, you end up beating them in the very last game of the year as well to win the premiership. I guess, what was the most rewarding part of it? Like knowing that you were the only team to beat Adelaide City twice, and obviously you beat them the first and the last time in 2020, or was it just the reward of hard work and especially the tough season it was due to COVID and the uncertainty of the season?
I think probably a bit of both there, but in particular, I don't think anything's really any win I've had in the past, like cup finals, etc. Nothing has felt quite as amazing as that winning that game. And I think it was that we really were, the underdogs. People had written us off. there wasn't that, I think there was some betting odds of $23 to 1 or something that we were for us to win. So I think, everything was against us, and getting the win when it just seemed like it was impossible was just an unbelievable feeling, and so special, and something that I don't think I'll ever forget.
Now, I've got to ask, do you have that premiership medal with you?
I have it next to me just for you. So yeah, no, I've got the medal here. It's very special.
So, Ellie, the question I need to ask you is, when you received your medal, how long did you wear your medal around your neck for? And did you sleep with it that night?
I think I wore it for a bit. I don't think I slept in it, but I woke up the next day and I kind of wasn't sure if it was all real. So it was nice to have the reminder that it had actually happened. Yeah.
Now, also, did you get a chance to hold that pretty big premiership cup, I'm pretty sure?
Yes, I did. Yeah. No, that was a very special moment. As I said, never would have thought we'd be holding that up at the end, and we were. So yeah.
I know I'm going to ask the silliest question on top of that. Did you get the chance to have a photo with it? And the other question is, did you kiss the premiership cup at any stage?
Yes, I got a photo with it, but no, I didn't kiss the cup.
I guess, what did that premiership mean to you?
It meant a lot, I think. From a team perspective, I guess I've been at Metro for the last, this is my 3rd season there. And I've worked with this playing group and the current coaching staff through that time, and I think we've developed a lot as a squad since Tony started coaching us, and towards the end of COVID last year, we were playing well and playing well as a group, and I think it sort of just it brought it all together. And I know Metro's had championships in the past, but I think this one was particularly special given the circumstances. But I mean, personally, I got quite badly concussed, in my first season at Metro. I missed the last part of the season and was sort of going through a period of where the doctors were saying, do you go back to playing soccer? We're sort of recommending no. It was my, major concussion that I ended up having, 6 months of symptoms with. And it was a tough sort of decision, but I guess I'm stubborn and quite passionate about soccer, and I couldn't imagine not playing soccer anymore. So getting the opportunity to then play in a championship a year later after having that, and then scoring the goal with a header in the end, it was sort of a bit of a dream ride, really. So it was, very special for me.
So my next question I'm going to ask is, what does the sport of the world game mean to you, and especially being there at Metro, considering you pretty much almost answered it anyway in the last question?
Well, clearly I'm being a bit silly and risking my brain's integrity to play soccer. But it's so hard to describe, because it's one of those things that you're just so passionate about and that you love, and it's a part of me and a part of my life now, and I can't see my life without soccer at the moment. That's as a player, but I'm sure in the future, that's whether I go into coaching or something else, I'm just always going to be involved with the soccer. And at Metro, I've been so lucky to be able to be welcomed in such a friendly and supportive environment that's allowed me to really, push myself personally, but also be supported and to play in a team that works really well together. So yeah, I've been very lucky with the support I've had at Metro.
How did you get involved in the world game, and why did you choose it, for anyone who missed out on the last interview 2 years ago?
You've already heard this story, I think, haven't you?
Yes.
So just by chance, really, I was one of the girls that was out on the back pitch at school playing football, mostly with the boys, and occasionally we play a bit of soccer. But mostly it started because I was at a friend's house for a sleepover, and she was playing soccer the next day, and they didn't have enough players. I think they had 8 and they needed 11 or something. So I was in year 3 and 8 years old, and they put some cardboard in my socks and chucked me out on the pitch in my board shorts and a bib and said, off you go, you'll be right. And I think I left and I had the best time of my life, loved it, hadn't played, competitive sport with other girls before. And then the coach called my dad up and said, can she come back next week maybe? We'd love to have her. And I haven't looked back since. I've been playing ever since then.
Now, I had to ask, what position do you play on the field? And if you had a preferred position where you love to convince your coaches to put you, where would that be?
Yeah, so I see myself as a central midfielder. I'm quite flexible, whether that's more a defensive or attacking role. I like playing in the middle of the park. I got put when Stella got injured last year. I was suddenly a left winger. So I played the whole final series, I think, in left wing, apart from a little bit, as well as, we were rotating through that front pitch. So that was a new experience for me, but I'm definitely happy and feeling a bit more comfortable now. I'm back in the midfield.
Obviously, we mentioned what your highlights were, especially that premiership. So we'll move on to the next question, which is, now, I know you don't want to single out anyone in your team. Do you have, I guess, a top 3 players that you played alongside with?
Oh, that's really tough. Yeah, I've been very lucky actually, with being able to play with quite a few really talented players. I mean, can I extend it a little bit? At the moment, I think I'm very fortunate to be playing with Christy Moore and Laura Stockdale. And Christy, as you may know, had an extensive career in soccer, playing internationally, but is now, in her 40s and still playing in the Premier League. So it's an incredible achievement on her part. And Laura is also another talented player who's in her late 30s, I think, and still the best player on the pitch. So she's doing amazing. But I guess I've also played with like Rachel Quigley. I don't know if you've spoken to her. And players like now Dylan Holmes, who's just had this amazing opportunity to step up and play for Australia. So I mean, I could go on and on. There's lots of players I've played with that are they're really excelling in the field now, and it's so great to see them doing so well and having these opportunities to step up and play internationally, or play over in England and Europe now. So yeah.
Now, I have to ask this one, which is, what would be your advice to people out there that should get involved in the World Game, and especially for Metro?
I guess if you're just starting out, don't take it for granted. Like, put the hours in when you're young, because it makes it worthwhile as you get older. And if you work on all those things like your touch and your passing when you're younger, it makes it so much older as you get a bit older. I think particularly at Metro, we've got a really supportive team and a very supportive club. So if anyone's looking to get started, whether it's in sort of the more social teams or if they're looking to push themselves in our sort of reserves and prems, then we've got really nice pathways and a really supportive culture as well. And I think the junior program at Metro too is quite extensive. So there's opportunities everywhere. Yeah.
Now, I have to ask this one as well. Do you have any future ambitions, long and short term, in the sport of the World Game?
Yeah, I think for me at the moment, I'm probably at a stage where I'm still trying to be, the best player I can be, getting out there each week and trying to perform and do the best I can for the team. I think it's probably more team-based goals now. I'd love to see if our team can try and this year, for example, see if we can make that top 4 again, push for another championship. It'd be really great if we can find ourselves more towards that semi or in the final, I guess, for the cup as well, because I don't think we had a strong presence in that last year. So just, trying to back up what we did last year and see if we can really push everyone this year.
Now, let's finish up with a couple of lighthearted questions about your teammates. Firstly, who had the most embarrassing moment on the field this season, and what was it?
Well, there's probably one player on the field in the game. But training, I can go to town on for you.
Yeah, go for it. No, it counts.
I think one of our players, Mel, who's our goalkeeper, is particularly has a few moments. So for example, the other day, after we were leaving the game, we were playing in the middle of an athletic stadium, and there's a rim around the stadium to enter onto the pitch. And the first time we walked over it, she tripped on it. And then the second time we walked over it, she fell flat on her face. So she missed it twice, I think. And then at training this week, she was picking a ball up in the back of the net and fell flat on her face because her foot got stuck in the netting. So she's had 2 in the last week, I think.
Oh, now who's the comedian in the team?
Well, I think Mel gets that cat, doesn't she? Maybe not by choice, but she definitely brings a bit of entertainment for us.
Now, any good singers and dancers in the team we should know about?
I don't know about singers. Dancers, again, potentially Mel loves a bit of a dance and he can do a bit of a roll on the ground. So, no. Other than that, though, I'm not sure. Sorry.
All good. Is anyone on your team, especially the young ones, into their TikToks?
I think they are. I'm not personally on TikTok. I've tried to stay away from it. But yes, I believe some of the younger girls like Annie and Jess and potentially Gabby, they quite like the TikTok. I know last year, actually, our coach made a TikTok with his daughter, which we all found, which was... I don't know if he planned that, but via the girls that are on TikTok who were friends with his daughter, we got hold of it, so that was good.
Oh, okay. Now, I know, speaking to Stella 2 years ago, or even maybe last year as well, that you had like a either fine system or a like smelly shirt thing that you had at training. Is that still going, and who's got it currently?
We don't actually, but that's a really great idea. Maybe we need to reintroduce that. Yeah, okay. No, that's what we might try and bring back, I think.
We'll finish up with this last couple, which is, do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
Sort of, but not really. I tape both of my ankles before a game, every game. And I have since I was probably 15, and I probably don't need to tape them anymore. I don't think I haven't rolled my ankle for a good 3 years, but I'm too scared to not tape them just in case. And I probably wouldn't feel confident without them taped. But I asked around the team to see if anyone else has any superstitions, and I don't think we're a very superstitious group. There's only Ness who puts the left sock on and left boot on first, and that's it. Everyone's like, nah.
Now, do you have like a pump-up song to hype the team up, or even yourself?
I don't know if there's one in particular. Lauren's in charge of the music at the moment. We've got a Spotify that I think a few people have added to, but I don't know if there's one particular song. As for myself, I tend to gravitate towards the good old Hilltop Hood songs on my trip to soccer. But yeah, nothing in particular really.
Now we'll finish up with this one last one. Now, I don't know if you're still doing this or not, but do you have a player sponsor that you like to give them a shout out, if you do have one?
Yeah, no, we are still doing player sponsors. And my player sponsor is Adelaide Dental by Design, which I'm very grateful for. So yeah.
Well, Ellie, thank you so much for getting up your time to join us. It's awesome having you on the show. And definitely our favourite Metro United player, and hopefully it all goes well for your team in particular, and especially for yourself, and hopefully it all goes well for the team. And please send our best wishes for that big knockout cup game on Friday night against NTC, but especially for the rest of the season at the moment. Currently at 1 win and 1 draw, and hopefully that continues on hopefully on the win side of things in the next couple of weeks or so as you head towards hopefully a top 4, maybe a top 2 finish.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, it was great to chat with you again.
No worries. And that's Ellie Bills there, joins there from Metro United, of course, the vice captain of the National Premier League women's team. And of course, if you want to get out to that game, we'll put all the details up on their next couple games coming up on a Friday night. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the Friday edition.